guys, welcome back. It feels like it's been so long since I've filmed anything because my last couple videos were plant tours, and then we did a little reset cleanup moment, and truthfully, a lot of that was filmed in the month of October and a little bit beginning of November. But then because those took so long to edit and whatnot, and I couldn't even get them really up for a while, I haven't even filmed in the longest time. But I thought today we would do some updates because obviously, like I said, we had the plant tours and then we did some cleanup, but I feel like it's been a while since I've actually just done some updates on what's going on. So we have some propagations to look at. We actually moved one of our cabinets and some plants, which you can kind of see. And yeah, I don't know, just a bunch of different little things, and a new journey that I'm working on as well. So I thought we would do an update video. So first of all, I thought I'd show you, I moved that big gloriosum into the plant room. This was the gloriosum that was in the living room corner, and if you remember from my plant tour video, I just was like, this can't stay here. It was so crushed, and now look at her. She gets literally full sun from our south window, and she has all of this space to grow and spread out and do her thing, and just gets lots of light and loves it. And this was literally one of the best decisions that we made. I'm just gonna like walk you guys around now. By the way, I didn't clean up, okay? In this whole video, I did not clean our apartment. If you guys remember, I had a Philodendron burrow marks here. I have now gone through, and I actually don't even remember if this is in my last video. I went through, and the plants that I said I don't know if I want anymore, I took care of them. I threw a couple out that had pests, I gifted some away, and I just kind of took that weight off my shoulders. So now it's just a little more concise on what I want. I still have not figured out where I want to put my Hawaiian purple public calyx Hoya, but we'll figure that out. And then my Monstera Thai constellation has one new leaf there and another new leaf there, so that's exciting. I will say having the grow light right above it has made this leaf go straight up, so I think I gotta figure it out. I don't remember if for Black Friday I ordered a standing one to go in front of it, but we shall see. I will have to look. But yeah, and then I just kind of like cleaned up all of this. You guys can see there's like space and gaps. You can see the wall, things aren't tipping over anymore. You know, obviously I need to work on the poles, but I ran out of moss poles, so I need to actually order more moss poles, and then everything will get re-staked up. In the red still wide, you guys remember I freaking chopped the crap out of the Philodendron Campo sportatum. Well, we have a new growth point. My Brandy has a new growth point, and I am so happy the Stanleyana has a new growth point. Oh wait, does it have two? Oh, it might have two. So exciting. I'm so glad, you guys, that I cleaned all that up. That was so bad. This cabinet is exciting. So not only is my dinner plate Hoya, these leaves have grown in so well. The Hoya fungi that I would like to share or sell is putting out some new leaves. Oh, and also this is that Anthurium warocqueanum, you guys. I completely chopped it back. I think I'm gonna throw her away. She is not good, and after doing some research and digging, I think she actually had a fungal issue, so I think I'm just gonna toss it, because after chopping it back, it's done nothing. So, and with a fungal issue, you guys, if you don't treat the fungal issue, like, that's not gonna just go away. So I think I'm gonna throw her out. And then my black velvet is loving life. Over here, you guys, my Hoya Pollinera was outgrowing that space, so I moved her into the living room, and now I gotta figure out what I want to put in there, because this cabinet stays pretty humid, and I'm partially tempted just to either take out that shelf or to put I guess I could put like a tall moss pole plant in there if I do take out the shelf, but I don't know. It's exciting to have an empty space. Although I do have props. Oh my gosh, sorry, I'm thinking out loud. Anyways, yeah, Hoya Pollinera got placed somewhere else, and now I have an open shelf to work with. In the other Redsta wide, you guys, I don't know if you remember the video that I pollinated or attempted to pollinate, but my Anthurium, oh no, what is it? Doriakii? I think so. Anyways, it won't stop flowering, and if you remember in those videos, I collected pollen, and then later on I repainted it on, and look, I genuinely think I'm gonna get some seeds. And if not, I have more pollen. But yeah, that's exciting, you guys. That's the first Anthurium I've ever pollinated, because that's one thing I never tried to learn or spent the time to learn. But then it's really easy. It's so easy. I'm sitting on the ground, so don't mind me. I switched my camera. It's really simple. You just take a little paintbrush. I think I had like a 50 pack for $1 or something at Walmart. You take a little paintbrush and you collect the pollen and then put it in the freezer in a container. And then once the plant flowers again, or you find another Anthurium that has a flower where you can visibly see the sap on the inflorescence, then you take that pollen with the little paintbrush and you paint it onto that to pollinate it. And then, yeah, and then it will, after the sappy phase is when it does the dusty pollen. So you can see it does the dusty pollen, and that's why this is also still dusty pollen. And then we'll see if we get berries and seeds, and that's what's happening. So I'm super excited because I didn't know if I did it successfully. It's my first time really attempting it, and I think we did good. So that'll be fun because I'll have to make a video on what comes from that. Okay, we are in the bedroom now, and I just want to pop over here and show you that plant that was in the plant room where the gloriosum is. The aglaonema has now been moved to Dino's side of our room. This is the back corner. And we also moved that lamp because it has a grow light, and we don't have lighting, so we have to use a lot of lamps. And so it actually was really nice to have that in our bedroom, but also, again, sorry, we did not clean. But yeah, we moved the aglaonema in here with a plant stand. Although I will say I gotta figure out the lighting a little more because those bottom leaves are dying off, but that's okay. This thing just doesn't stop growing. There's so much new growth. But yeah, it's just nicer to have like a nice statement one plant fill the space. And then we have really nice lighting for the evening. So that was a big update because if you guys remember, we had a cabinet here. Oh my goodness. Willow, that's my foot. So here we are in the living room in that little nook corner. Look at what we did. We took out that gloriosum. It's in the plant room. And then the lamp that was here, we moved into our bedroom with that aglaonema. And it actually felt so good to move the Redsta tall cabinet to be in the corner here. And it fits so well. It just works. Here's a better view. I did a wide angle. Again, you guys, excuse our messes. But yeah, it feels good because in the evening now, I don't know, I love the ambiance lighting that comes from a cabinet compared to like a light or a lamp. And yeah, it is actually the perfect size and fits over there so well. By the way, side note, the sun, now that the winter sun is coming in, it is just so beautiful in here. But we did move, my cats got to it, but we did move the Philodendron Goldii over here just because, again, it's a very wide plant. And I did acclimate and take out the Anthurium pallidiflorum, if you guys remember me talking all about that. And we have a new leaf. And then let's talk about in here. So a couple things. First of all, I finally potted up that variegated Philodendron bipennifolium, which it's loving, and we got it on a moss pole. And then this used to be in our bedroom. This was an Anthurium cabinet, but you guys, Anthuriums grow out cabinets so fast. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna make this whatever fits. And that's for the most part usually the smaller plants. I did move this in here. This was in the Detolf in the plant room, and it is way happier. And then we put this cutie in here and the Amidrium silver because it's small, but since it can use the wall to support, it hasn't given me a runner yet. So it's still putting out leaves. Eventually though, I'm going to take this out and put it on a pole. And then this Anthurium's doing great, just hanging down. And then we have that cutie. I sat down for a second so that I can talk to you and not make it all shaky. In that cabinet, the downside to that was that I found 2 plants in that cabinet that had thrips. I found the culprit. It was my Anthurium cocobamba, which if you guys can recall in my tour video, it was not doing well, and I'm kind of questioning if it just had thrips all along. So my plan for this long weekend is actually to check all those plants on the floor by the window because it was there for a while. And the downside is I know that that Anthurium cocobamba came from the Millsbo Tall cabinet that I mentioned had thrips. So it sucks because then I put that into that cabinet and I didn't see thrips for the longest time on that plant until I later on found it in that cabinet. So I am a little worried because my variegated bipennifolium is in there, and that's probably the plant I care about the most in that cabinet. That was from the International Air Raid show. But I'm keeping a close eye on them, and once I found thrips on that plant, I checked every other plant in that cabinet. Didn't find them on the plants that are in there right now, but I did find them on my little baby pot of Philodendron Florida Beauty props, which that is such a bummer because the little pot, it was a mini terracotta pot, had 2 or 3 baby props, but they had like half moon variegated leaves, and it was just so nice, and it was doing so well for the longest time. And unfortunately the Anthurium cocobamba was climbing right up and kind of touching it, so naturally the thrips got a hold of it. And so yeah, and I'm just gonna save some time now. I had those plants then, the cocobamba and the baby Florida Beauty, quarantining in our master bathroom, and I had treated them, I had sprayed them down, we quarantined them, and oh my god, I went in there the other day to check on them because it's been a couple weeks, and I literally looked and there were thrips all over the plants. Willow's just biting stuff. There were thrips all over the plants. It was so bad. And so with the baby Florida Beauty, that was a prop from my mother plant, which I have other props and things going. So I was like, this is not worth my stress and my time, especially for something like thrips. And so I threw that one out. And then the cocobamba, the whole thing was like almost dead. And then the one last leaf that it had, oh my gosh, sorry, I had to grab Willow. Okay, anyways, long story short, those plants, they didn't make it. They had thrips, they were so bad. And I just, with everything going on and having 300 plus plants, I need to pick and choose when I address pests and when I just throw them out. So those plants were practically dead. And even after quarantining and treating them, I just only found more adult thrips. And I was like, these aren't worth it. These are not worth it. I have other plants. Throw it in the trash. So yeah, that was fun. While I'm sitting here on the couch, I thought I would show you guys this new plant that I got recently from a Facebook group. This is the Siltepecana, Monstera siltepecana, and I think it's actually, there's a couple forms of it. I forgot what it was, but I think it's a larger form, and it's beautiful. This is a plant that I had a cutting of that literally hated me. Anytime I would finally plant it rooted into soil, it would die, so I'd have to put it back in water, and it was giving me such a hard time. But I'm so glad, because I was always waiting until I found the large form, because it's just, I don't know how to explain it, but it is different. And I really wanted one that could climb. So anyways, a girl locally had this plant for sale. It was literally 15 bucks for the rooted plant. And then I repotted it with a moss pole, which I already know I'm gonna have to extend soon, but it's loving it, and it is such a stunning plant. So I was super happy, and I'm super glad that I found it at such a great price. And I love this setup. It'll probably end up going in here once I get all of this stuff checked for thrips and get everything like situated. Also, speaking of here, I actually did order more moss poles, and you can see I'm slowly transitioning everything over to these new clear ones that I did a whole video on. But oh my gosh, you guys, when my new moss poles come in, I cannot wait, because my Splendid really needs it. Like, it grows like such a weed. And then these plants are also just going crazy. I need to get these things supported. I was super happy though, because I did get my Majestic on one of these poles. I think I did a video or showed you guys, but we have a new leaf coming in. She's doing so good. All right, you guys, speaking of thrips, here we go. Let's talk about this. So, in my plant tour video, I would not even open the cabinet because of thrips, but I wanted to let you guys know, once I finally had some energy, I went in and I cleaned all these plants, and I cleaned the cabinet. You guys can see how clean it is on the bottom. I wiped everything down, obviously, except for the doors. I need to wipe the doors down, but I am happy to report that I did not see any more thrips. And so lately I've been making sure that when I water them, I actually hose them down at the sink, because that really, really helps. I will say my Hoya, Bella, Louis Boy, Louis Ba, I don't know why I can't even say it. I did find spider mites on that one, so that one's a little tricky because, you know, small leaves. I'm treating that one actively for spider mites, but other than that, I have not found thrips since the one time I found them. And I know that this was the culprit, but I'm honestly seeing if this plant comes back after I've treated and sprayed it down. We shall see. I might pot it in some fresh moss, because obviously it is like so damp and there's a little bit of crap growing there. But yeah, and then back there is the, what were you? The alocasia. I have that one. I propped it. I think I might just get rid of that one too, or check and see if there's some corms in there. But other than that, you guys, I'm so happy. I thought I avoided this cabinet because I thought it was just going to be total devastation, but honestly, those were the two that really suffered the most. And then everything else is bouncing back super well. Like, you guys, look at that cutie. My variegated jade syndapsis, I did take cuttings of because it was kind of doing runners and getting leggy. I plan to get that one on a pole eventually too. But yeah, everything else perked up. They all just needed a little TLC. And yeah. And then also down here, I completely chopped back my, oh man, what was it? I think this was the Anthurium warocquianum waterburyanum cross hybrid. But anyways, I totally chopped it back and we have a new leaf coming. So that's exciting. And then my Glorious, Philodendron Glorious, is definitely, it's outgrown its little bamboo pole, and it won't stop growing. So I can't wait for my moss pools to come in, because I want to get this one on a moss pool sooner than later, and then it'll, oh my gosh, hi. And then it'll go over there with all those cuties. Willow, do you want to say hi to everyone? You guys haven't seen Willow in so long. She's so big now. Hi, baby. She's so energetic right now. So yeah, good news on the thrift cabinet. And my cutie is so big. She's so big now. She was so small when we got her, and now she's like 7 or 8 months old. When we first introduced her to you guys, she was like 3 or 4 months. So she's bigger than Rory now. That's another update. Okay, so I want to come over here and show you guys some updates over here. It looks like such a mess because it is. I had energy for the first time last week, so I did so much repotting. You guys can see I have all my potting stuff right there because I plan to do more this weekend if I can. But yeah, so I'm gonna go through some props that we potted and what's going on over here. By the way, remember I said I didn't clean up? Ugh. My cats, sometimes they play a little too hard, and just my poor plants, they'll get shredded sometimes. So while we're right here, I want to show you one of my most exciting updates. This is the, oh gosh, sorry, you're backlit. This is the Monstera Adansonii Mint. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, we already have another new leaf. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at that. So I repotted this because you might think it doesn't need such a big pot, but you guys, it was so rooted at the bottom of the last 6-inch pot that it was in. It quite literally could have filled another pot. That's how many roots there were. And that was why it kept killing off leaves, was because it was so root bound. And so after I had chopped it last, it put out 1, 2, and then where's the other one? It had given me 3 new growth points, but I'm just now realizing that it put out literally 2 new stems. Like, oh my god, that's so crazy. So yeah, anyways, I got this cutie repotted, and it is so happy. I cannot wait for that to fill in. Also right here, sorry for the weird angle because it's a tight squeeze, we repotted the Florida Beauty because as well she was coming out of the bottom of her pot and she needed a way better moss pole. I got my dubia. Oh my lord. So we got her potted up and going, and then we actually gave her a chop because she was getting, you know, the growth. Once she outgrew the pole, which is actually that pole, she was putting out really small growth, stunted growth. So we just did some chop and propping to get some new plants, because why not? And then literally the Peru, I just finally took off of a chopstick and I put it on a real pole and gave it a chop. So I hope that grows in. It's a little hard to tell because of all the shadow and lighting, but I did also move the Philodendron Yuppie, and this was on this show shelf, but I moved it and I gave it a pull because it was growing like crazy, and I just gave it a stake because it's not like, I'm not really expecting it to size up in leaves, but just for support. So now it has a way better chance. Another big update is that Epipremnum elbow, you guys, in my plant tour, you guys saw this thing was just covered in dead leaves. This was the one normal leaf remaining. Well, I chopped it back and I got a new growth point coming in at the bottom, which is exciting because now it's gonna fill in from the bottom. And then we have other growth points that have been activated, and including this one and this one. So we're getting some growth, but it's gonna be really weird. And truthfully, while we're in this phase, we'll see. I honestly, even though we have growth coming in at the top, I might just totally chop it, and then I can use this pole for a plant that really needs it. Because I also, if you guys recall, in my last Lost in the Forest haul video a few videos back, I did just get a massive mature epi elbow. So we'll see, TBD on how I feel. Right here, again, I'm so sorry you guys for this lighting. I did get some props potted up. So this is that Anthurium vitarifolium baby. She rooted so fast in water. So we got her potted into soil and did a top filling of moss. And I have a Syngonium aurea that rooted. So I'm finally gonna have an aurea again, because I have had this plant so many times and it gets spider mites so many times. So I'm happy to have another one regrow. Then we've got the epi elbow props putting out some leaves. I did finally pot up my Monstera adansonii mint propagation that I had. I potted up other epi elbow props. If you guys can tell, I have a lot of Epipremnum elbow now. So I'll have no shortage to fill in the plant that died, but it's a lot. And then these are the Florida Beauty cuttings. These are all individual one-leaf cuttings that I took from my plant when I repotted and put on a pole. So I'm hoping those grow in, and then I can have more Florida Beauty. Back here is exciting. I moved my massive Philodendron, El Choco Red. I moved it over here because it was growing so weird and so crazy. And so I honestly was like, my cats play really hard, and they have definitely torn up some plants that are in their play area. So I wanted to move this one out because I just love it. And it's so big and grows so wide. So we flipped upside down the big pot that was laying down there in my tours. We flipped it upside down to use it as a riser, and we lifted her up, and now she gets light from the window and a little bit of light from those grow lights. But yeah, super cute. I'm so happy that we moved her out of the way. Excuse my mess, but here's a way better angle. So yeah, you guys can see this is pretty crazy. I am going to do some rearranging. I've already done some rearranging, but we're gonna do some more. But that was a nice addition because you can also see it moves. I'm standing on my chair, by the way. It angles down, so it's a really tricky plant that we're trying to deal with, and I think eventually I'll take it off of that pole. But yeah, moved her over there. I know I'm like all over the place right now, but that's why I'm just kind of rapid fire showing you guys the random updates, so bear with me. But yeah, let's keep going. Okay, so over here, these are just some of the props that I potted up. It's crazy. So I had a ton of propagations that were on our buffet by the coffee machine in water, and truthfully, I just set it and forget those. So I finally had the motivation and the soil to do some potting and do some moss propping. So let's go through them. So I had a one-leaf cutting of my Epipremnum silver, and these all rooted really well. This one I truthfully don't know what it is. I think it might be a baby Epipremnum. I don't know. That will be fun to figure out what that is. If you remember, you guys, I completely chopped up and threw away my dead Syngonium pink splash. Well, we did get good roots on my one leaf that I managed to save, and I think she might be trying to put out a new leaf, but got her potted up. We'll see if we save her. And then if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys saw I completely chopped up my Syngonium elbow because it was growing really like funky and like a weed. So I had a ton of props and I potted them up, and you guys can see I love it because mine had such good genetics. But yeah, I potted, I don't know, like 4 or so plants into one pot to be a mini bush. And then actually, this is a pot of props. You guys, this is so crazy. I had, like I said, I completely chopped back a massive plant. It was just so leggy. So I did so many 1-leaf cuttings, and I put them as a bouquet of props in water on our buffet, and I left it alone for months. Everything grew roots and multiple little babies. So now you guys can see we have multiple plants and leaves and things growing. And I was like, I think I just want a bushy bouquet plant. So I'm so excited. I mean, this thing just got potted up and it's transitioning really well and putting out new growth. And I'm excited to have this as a plant again, because I've only ever had, in the last like however many months, little baby props and plants and things. And so now I have this smaller pot that I'm gonna have it grow in, and we'll see if I put it somewhere else or, you know, gift it or something. And then I have myself a big bouquet. Another series of unfortunate events. If you guys recall, this big pink pot actually had a beautiful Philodendron white princess in it with a half moon leaf and an all white baby. That also had to quarantine for the longest time because I found mealybugs on it, which sucks. So I had that quarantining, and I legit, you guys, especially with mealybugs, I take alcohol and cotton balls and I go in and I clean it up by hand and kill them. And they just kept coming back and I could not save it. And then to add to the burn, it got completely infested with spider mites while quarantining for mealybugs. Like, I'm not kidding. It was in my bathroom. I don't know how it got so bad. It probably already had spider mites, and then those took over, obviously, when I moved it to quarantine. But I'm not kidding. You'd think a legit spider was living in that plant. It was so covered in webbing and the spider mites and then mealybugs. So that was one that, again, it sucked so bad because I loved it. It was so beautiful. You guys saw it in my tour. It was so stunning, but it was literally just covered in pests. And I was like, that sucks. So I had to throw it away. And so, yeah, that's why now my big bouquet of Syngonium elbow is in that pot, that really pretty pink pot. I think they look great. But yeah, RIP to that white princess. And then right here, we had a couple of my Philodendron Jose Buono cuttings. You can see I have little baby leaves coming in. If you guys recall, I had a stump because my Jose Buono moss pole had rotted and snapped it all off. So I literally have so many cuttings now of Jose Buono, and I got 2 potted up because eventually I'd probably share them or sell them. Although I will say my cats had some fun, and I believe Willow was gnawing on this. So that's a bummer. That's the newest leaf that's supposed to come in. Hopefully it can recover. Oh my God. Anyways, yeah, so hopefully this one will recover, and then I have another one, and you know, it's silly because it has 1 massive leaf and then baby leaves, but yeah, we're doing good. Now we got a couple Jose Buonos, and the mother plant, I'm gonna show you real quick. She's growing. Here's a quick little pop over to the mother plant. If you remember in my tour, it was just a stump with these growth points coming in, but look, literally a whole stem came in, and we've got a whole plant growing right there, and I cannot wait for those to grow in, and we're just gonna have like 3 stems of Jose in the one little pot. So I cannot wait. I'm excited, and it was worth it to take the cuttings. Before I show you guys the other ones, I just have to show you my Ploumanii Philodendron palmanii is putting out a new leaf. I cannot wait. This plant, you guys, I love Philodendron palmanii, but this thing just always gets spider mites. Honestly, I had it quarantining and it was finally spider mite free, but it might already have more spider mites. So that's fun, but I love this plant. I highly recommend it if you're someone who's dedicated to clean it all the time, because like, look at those new leaves. So pretty. But I will say, I don't know, eventually this is going to be a plant where I don't continue to buy it when it dies, because it is such a magnet for spider mites. Also, I'm sorry, my cats, they're just on another level today. Okay, back over here, you guys. Sorry, I hope you guys can bear with my popping all over. Anyways, here's some more cuttings that were rooting fine in water, but then I wanted to put them in moss just to kind of root them a little more, a little better. And then also some new cuttings. So here we have just a wet stick. Personally, I don't remember what this is. I knew I was gonna forget and I was gonna label it at one point, but I forgot. But it was something good and something worth saving. So we'll see if that does anything. And then my Philodendron strawberry shake, I actually repotted and got on a pole, so I cut off the smaller stunted growth leaves, and I'm hoping that we get a couple new shakes. And then this is from my Philodendron Florida Beauty. This is the top cut. And then we have an Epipremnum elbow, I think, or Syngonium. One of the two. Right there as well. I think it's the Epi elbow. And then what else do we got? Oh, this is a little baby Philodendron squamiferum. Look at the petiole. Yeah, a little baby squammy. I can't wait. I definitely want to share this one, probably with one of my family members who doesn't have it, but this is such a fun one. That was a fun one to prop, because then once you see those petioles come through, it's just so cute. And then another strawberry shake. So yeah, these are moss props. These, I think I'm gonna put them in the empty shelf in the detolf in the plant room. So that way they get some humidity and they grow really well. That's usually what I do with moss props. I'll put them in either a cabinet or something so that they can maintain humidity. I'm just coming over here to give you guys a little quick view. So we cleared so much space on the buffet because this is where I had a ton of things propping in water, and they get light from that light. I don't have a plant up there right now. I need to do that. But so yeah, and so I potted a bunch of these plants up that were right here and did some swapping, and I took some new cuttings. These are those massive Philodendron bipen cuttings. They actually are rooted, but I don't have a big pot. I ran out of 6-inch pots, so I have to wait to pot that one up. But here are some more Jose Buono cuttings from that plant. When I was potting up a bunch of stuff, they're not super rooted, but they've got new leaves and things growing, so I kind of want to let them root a little longer, and then also just not disturb the new growth that's coming in. So TBD on that. And then I did chop up my Philodendron mayoi, because if you guys remember, it had a little cut, like it had snapped a little bit. So I finally got those in some water. My heart leaf got a chop and we put those in water. And then actually the Philodendron 69686 from the plant room was growing really funky. And again, I never really see this plant for sale much anymore, but I love it. And I would love to have a more full pot versus a leggy stem of a plant. So I took some cuttings. Oh my goodness. And yeah, those guys are in water. And obviously we don't have roots yet because that was literally a week ago. But yeah, so we don't really have as many props right now. in water, and then I chose to moss prop some recent cuttings that I took, and it just kind of gave us some more space on our buffet. And I really like when I have just a jar, honestly, that's almost like cut flowers, like a bouquet of cuttings. So yeah, that's the update on those props. Also, please excuse our mess. Okay, you guys, sorry if it's a little dark because I'm not turning on my ring light. But if you can tell, we're right next to the IKEA Vista shelf in our living room. And before we did rearranging, behind me is where we had all of these, we had like 3 really tall moss pole plants, and it was fine. It looked fine. It was nice because it's almost, our thought on it was to create just like a bunch of nice big climbing plants to fill the space in our apartment. But truthfully, because they weren't filled in, it looked a little weird because all you saw were just these like big moss poles and then like just single file leaves on them, you know what I mean? You can kind of tell with the Florida red stem right here. So I think it would have looked way better if we had plants that were totally overgrown on those moss poles, and then you didn't really see the pole, it just looked like plant totems. That would have looked cool, but we're impatient. We just aren't, I don't think our plants are gonna get to that point for a long time until we fill things in. Ever since I got these clear moss poles, I'm just really not liking the look of the black wire mesh moss poles. I just want clear moss poles that blend in really well. So yeah, we weren't loving it, and just some new interests of mine came up that I was like, you know what, I have an idea. Now I will say, we did leave my Philodendron gigas pole here as a little corner plant, but it's already outgrowing it. I do need to take cuttings, but personally, I'm at that point where the bottom is so leggy, I think I'm just gonna chop the whole thing. Chop the whole thing, prop it, and then the base of the plant, we'll see if that like regrows in. But it's just there for right now in the corner because you guys see it blends in with the shelf. And then on the other side of me, you can see that we have the Philodendron Florida red stem. I almost said Florida ghost. And that is because next to that, we put my massive mature Epipremnum elbow. And don't worry, I'm gonna pick up the camera and then show you guys a more up close view. But I thought that just having those two there in contrast of like, you know, this moss pole one and then this beautiful bushy one, this is what I was hoping all those plants on the tall moss poles would eventually get to, but we're not there yet. If they looked like this and then they were tall, then like that would have been amazing, but we're not there yet. So finally, it took a long time. That epi elbow was, this doesn't make sense, but it was quarantining in the plant room, but it was mainly so that it was quarantining away from our cats, because Willow, I was like, no, I don't want you to bite this or play with it. I don't want it to get hurt. Like, this is one of my absolute favorite plants in the moment. So it was in the plant room for a while, and I really just kept thinking to Dino, like, this is a statement plant. This is a plant that needs to have a spot and have the space to grow. And so I finally bought a mini plant stand. And then that beautiful pot, you'll see a better close-up view, I switched it out from my jungle boogie, and I was like, that is stunning. And so we put it there, and that's its spot. And without further ado, Dino and I came up with the idea of creating a little apothecary. As you guys know, I have been going through some health issues lately. My family has a history of autoimmune, and I don't know. I really don't know why, but like my whole family, we've just all been kind of sick lately and whatnot. And I've actually had so many doctor's appointments and all this bullshit. But because of all that, I have been so drawn to natural healing, and obviously I love plants and I love herbs, and I have really dove into loose leaf teas and making tea blends, and I have a crap ton of boxed tea in there, obviously, for those times when I'm like, I don't want to do anything, just easy peasy. But it felt really good, and I was like, I have so much tea and loose herbs in jars. Like, this feels planty, and I want to have a dedicated place for all of this. So Dina was like, well, why don't we just, I was like thinking, okay, maybe I'll get a bar cart style, and then we'll make that like my tea bar. You know how there's like coffee bars and things? I didn't realize how much I had. I had a lot. And so Dino had the idea of doing actually like a side table, basically. And we looked on Amazon, and I was like, this one is perfect. It has drawers on the bottom, or like little cabinets for closed storage that I can put the loose herbs in, because you want those in a dark place. And then I can put all the box stuff right there for storage. And then I have the setup to do the actual blending and tea making right there. And with the whole like mesh wire storage stuff right here, you know, with like the hooks and everything, that was perfect. This was on Amazon, and I'll be sure to link it below because I think it was only like $130. It was such a steal. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys now a close-up view. I will say too, I moved my Anthurium veitchii here. This was on the coffee table because, again, if you guys recall in my video, I was saying how my cat Willow was loving to just bite on it, and personally this is a plant that I think looks so good when it can hang down. Even in a hanging pot this would look good. But we have a new leaf coming in, and it's so exciting, and I think it really fits the vibe. Also, here's a close-up. Please ignore our shoe thing, but like I said, we got the little plant stand, and then we have this nice beautiful speckled big pot for the Epi elbow to come in, and it is just so beautiful right here. Oh my gosh, this veitchii leaf, and it's doing pretty good. I did order grow lights for Black Friday, and so I'm actually going to put some grow lights over here to make sure that this thing gets enough light, because, you know, obviously it's decently far away from the clip lights that we have going on, which, by the way, I also finally moved up there instead of on our shoe thing. But yeah, so I did order grow lights because I want to make sure that these plants are doing good, and I want this thing to keep climbing and thriving. And then here's that Florida red stem. You guys see what I mean? Like, I love it because I love the mature shape, but I'm propping cuttings to hopefully eventually fill this in. And so in the meantime, I don't really like just seeing a big tall moss pole. Like, it's not really cute. So as for right now, it's right there. I don't know if it's gonna stay there, but at least in comparison, we have this beautiful statement plant there. And then, like I said, same thing with the Gygus right there. It's fine, but then it's not down there. All right, this is what you guys want to see. So first of all, up here we have some of my herbal medicine and apothecary books, and obviously I'm a crystal girly, so I've got crystals. This one is actually on a light stand, so in the evening, that one I have it lighting up. And then I moved the little baby pot of the Argyrius syndapsis right here. And then this book, you guys, The Healing Garden, this is just such a beautiful coffee book. I believe it's by the Chestnut, oh, who's it by? Yeah, Chestnut School of Herbal Medicine founder, Juliet. It's a beautiful book, so I actually wanted to have that one like displayed, but great book for a resource. More crystals. And then down here, so this is what I was saying, this really drew me in. Mind you, you guys, Dino found this He found this, I'm pretty sure, because he looked for me. But I loved this because then I can hang my shears. I have a bunch of bags of lavender, and I hope to then share these. Some of these I got from some of my crystal sellers, but I just like having these little baggies here that I could always send home with somebody when they visit. And then my beautiful measuring spoons for the tea. And then right here on top, I do need to get something to help like protect the surface. Probably a tray, but we have my electric kettle, and then we have my French press. You guys, I put loose leaf herbs in here with boiling water, and then eventually I press this down to strain it, and then I have a fresh tea blend. And then I have a glass teapot. This is for the, like, I'm not kidding, legit flower herbs that I have. So I get these little flower bundles, and they almost like bloom. I'll put a picture on because I know I have a picture of it, but they bloom in here, and then you can pour it to strain. Got some fresh honey, and then one of my favorite setups, so these are also for loose leaf herbs. You can put them, since obviously they're not in tea bags, but we have my mortar pestles. This one's a granite from Dino's family, and then this one is a legit green onyx crystal mortar pestle from one of my favorite crystal sellers. And I'll put her info and stuff below, but it's just stunning. And I can use this, if you guys are unaware, you use mortar pestles to basically powder loose leaf herbs. And then just a little blue onyx crystal bowl that I can put loose leaf herbs in. I just have like a nice cute little, I have a crystal in it right now, but I really like onyx, if you can tell. But yeah, that's the top portion, and then we'll get into this stuff. Okay, so I have just bins and bins and bins of tea bags, and this is just a big bin of boxes. I plan to get an actual organizer, so something that maybe has a bunch of slots, drawers, shelves or something, to then because then I can take them all out of the boxes, and then maybe that'll actually help consolidate some space. And then over here I have some loose leaf teas that I have not yet put in jars, which you'll see eventually. These ones in particular are actually from our local Bosnian supermarket. It's located in Blaine or Fridley, Minnesota. And they have actually a lot of super affordable loose leaf teas. I just dropped one. But yeah, like loose leaf tea and herbs for such a good affordable price. So that is why you guys will see things that are obviously not in English, but then the labels kind of tell us. I don't remember if I've ever shared this, but Dino and his family are Bosnian and they speak Bosnian, and so that's actually how I even know about the Bosnian store. So it's really cute and fun. Like Dino and I will go there, and then he'll translate stuff and read things and show me, and it's super cute. But yeah, so you're actually gonna see that some of this is not in English, but yeah, I don't know if I ever shared that, but yeah, he speaks Bosnian and he's Bosnian. So speaking of that, we have a really cute tea set from his grandmother, and I have that right there. I do plan to put it somewhere else and do something with it, but as of right now, it's just stored right here because it's in a protective box. But yeah, you can get some good loose leaf organic herbs from the Bosnian market. And then we go down here. It's already kind of a mess, but this is what I'm saying. So I have turmeric root, linden flower, bearberry leaves, marshmallow root, If you guys can imagine, you guys see how many jars I have. This was all on our countertop in our kitchen. So this is why I was saying to Dino, it'd be nice to have a dedicated space to be my apothecary, because we just have a tiny kitchen. So this is perfect. I have them in these kind of jars, so they do need to be in a darker area, so having a cabinet is perfect. And then over here I have ones that I haven't even put into jars yet, and I have some empty jars. I have so many herbs on order, so I'm gonna definitely have to figure this out. Obviously these are big jars and these ones are smaller, so I can stack. But yeah, I do have, for instance, like one of my mixes, so olive of oregano, jarred on 10-1. This is almost a 2-month-old mixture, but you guys, look into this kind of stuff. It is so cool, especially if you're into plants and natural healing. But yeah, lavender, fresh lavender, nettle, all that fun stuff. It is such a cool thing to get into. As of right now, just putting those there. But yeah, I need to get those in jars. And yeah, it's a little peek inside of there. So yeah, I'm really excited to share that with you guys, because it's been a big part of my journey and looking into healing and everything that I've kind of been experiencing the last 6 months now. And so you have no idea how good it feels to now have a fully set up little apothecary. You guys can see this is about how tall it is. I'm 5'2" and it's not even up to my waist. But it's just a really nice little addition. It matches the vibe of our shelving and our cabinets. And then I can really put like my crystals and my herbs, and it just feels really good. With that being said, I actually finally took the leap of signing up for an Herbal Academy. So I'm actually actively now taking courses, classes, and doing all this stuff to get into herbalism, which is crazy to say. It's definitely a 180 from my current career as a graphic designer, but I will say just everything I've been looking into with all of it in the last 6 months, I don't know, I really resonate with it. And maybe other people feel this way too, especially if you're just like a plant person and the connection that you feel with plants. And then I will say that translates into then connecting a lot with the earth and the crystals. And then I've done, you guys, I do so much research all the time about healing with food and just being a woman and your systems in your body and all this, and then how we can heal naturally from herbs. And so yeah, I'm so excited. I really feel like I resonate and connect with this so much, and I cannot wait. I quite literally signed up for classes like a day ago because for Black Friday I signed up through the Herbal Academy. I'll have to look it up. I can put a link below if you guys are interested in something like that, but I signed up because they're actually having sales, and it was a great time to finally decide like I'm taking these classes and I'm gonna go for it. And it's a long journey, and I really hope that this kind of falls into place. But yeah, so anyways, that's like a little bit of a big announcement and kind of planty and not planty, but that's what's going on with me. And I know a lot of my free time is gonna go towards my studies. But what's really cool is, you guys, if you're interested, let me know. But I will be doing things like learning how to make tinctures and other medicinal blends with herbs. And if you're actually curious about that side of my journey, let me know, because I could let you guys in on what I'm doing, you know, like show you guys a video of me doing things with plants and herbs if you're interested. But yeah, so this felt really good and I was so excited. Of course, Dino had a brilliant idea and pulled it through as always. And yeah, it's so exciting. I love it, you guys. I need to get some like twinkle lights. I want some lights to have it nice and vibey at night. The clear quartz crystal I have there on the light stand can change color and light up and stuff, but I want some nice twinkle lights. And yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah. Okay, we're getting really close to the end of our updates, so I'm gonna just kind of speed it up now because that was my main update. But since this was all right here, if you guys can recall, we had a cat tower here, and so we then moved that right here. We did take one of the old cabinet glass shelves finally, and we put that here. We used to have a plastic like propagation tray and it just looked like crap, and honestly with having 2 kitties we needed something stable, so we put one of the Millsbow cabinet trays here, and then we had, oh, it kind of fell off, but we have these little like supports to help protect the glass, and some books, and we just put a couple plants there, and then we moved the cat tower right here. And honestly, that's the best decision we ever made, because our cats, every day we find them both just sitting here because they love to be above us. Like when we sit on the couch, they love to be right above us. And so we're actually super happy. I mean, I know if I back up, it's a little random, but it's actually not that bad. I don't mind how it looks. I kind of want to get them a bigger tower, especially now that Willow is growing. What? Don't bite me. Don't bite me. But yeah. And then that isn't going to stay there full time, but they just love the thing because then they can like jump and play and all that. So we'll figure out a spot for that. That's, you see kind of why it can be a little weird because it's almost right in front of our cabinet, but I love that they love it there. So, and then I just have a random plant stand. This thing, you guys, has tipped over so much. It is so unstable. I'm just not a fan of three-leg plant stands, so I don't know if I'm gonna keep that, but yeah. Here's another view. This is from in our little like nook, but you got the cats, the thing, and then that area, and then the vis show. Sorry, my ring light is in the way, but you guys see the gist. It just fits really well, and I feel like this looks nice. It fills the space nice. I just love the Veitchii up there. Okay, you guys, final updates in our master bedroom, and then I'm done. I'll end the video. So one big update, we rearranged this little spot because my Hoya fungii was just growing like crazy, and honestly, it is so heavy. I don't know how this never tipped over. So the Hoya fungii got moved into its own sturdy plant stand, and the pot's even too big to fit in there, but whatever. And I've chopped it so many times and it just continues to put out new stems. So she's moved, and then we took my variegated Maranta off the ground, and she's adding variegation now. So that's exciting. She's off the ground and getting some light. This is my Philodendron strawberry shake. If you guys recall, I said lately that we chopped her and put her on a moss pole that she deserves. So now hopefully she'll put out some growth. I'll be curious to see where the new growth point comes because we chopped her right there. But that'll be exciting. I cannot wait to see this thing actually grow better. I don't remember if I've mentioned it, but I moved the Monstera aurea out of our Millsbow wide, moved her here, and I just put her in with all of the other Monsteras. So she's out here. We don't have a new leaf yet, and honestly, she's gonna need a transition because, like, for instance, right now I have her air conditioning on, and so the lighting and the watering and lack of humidity, like, it's gonna be a transition. We're gonna lose some leaves, which I fully expect, but I can't wait for it to finally be on a good page with all the other Monsteras. And then we have the
tie. This was back there, but then I was like, it's covering everything in front of it. So moved it away from the window, and I put the smaller tie back there that used to be on our dining table. This one, and she's got a new leaf coming. And the string of hearts down there is doing good. I gotta clean up so bad. You guys can see the string of hearts is trailing. And then what else? Oh, we repotted the Monstera mint. She got a bigger pot, and I just bought this at Lowe's. So that's exciting. She was already growing out of the pot. So the mint got a repot. And then Hoya Walliniana. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys will see this thing has been flowering so much. So much. Like, look, more flowers. So that thing's doing fabulous. And then in here, I'm not gonna go in depth, but I did a cleaning day. So I completely took all the plants out and wiped everything down, and then everything got a spray down. So you guys can see my Laturiana is doing great. I got rid of anything in here that was scraggly or dying or whatever. Like, really cleaned up in here. Everything is doing really well. Got new leaf coming in on there. We have an inflorescence and a new leaf coming on the forgetii. New leaf on the dock block. This was a new leaf. We have a new leaf that's getting crushed back there as that one is dying off. But yeah, it felt so good, you guys. You always got to do some cabinet spring cleaning and, well, winter cleaning. But yeah, everything was doing good in there. It feels less cluttered for sure. The Millsville Wide has a bunch of updates I really want to show you, but I'm just going to do it really quickly. I did move those two small plants from the Millsville Tall cabinet I just showed you. I moved them in here because honestly, the Epipremnum marble was not a fan of the high humidity. Like in here, it's only 64. And so it kept getting like rotted. So I think it loves it in here way more. And same with my Anthurium. The big news, we have a deformed silver blush Anthurium leaf, but we do have a new Syngonium scrambled eggs leaf. My hair is just hanging there. You guys, in my tour, this thing was struggling and dying, and I wasn't sure what I was gonna do, yada, yada, yada. But you guys, it bounced back. We got a new leaf, and it's variegated. And then look, there's another one on the way. Another one on the way. I'm so happy. This thing did it. It made it. She's so cute. And then we do have a new massive Anthurium regali leaf. This one, you guys, this thing, I don't know where I'm gonna put it. It definitely has outgrown the cabinet. And then a new leaf on this cutie. Like, everything's doing so well. We have a new leaf coming on the, I don't even remember the name of this one. You guys know this one. But we got a new leaf coming in. So yeah, everything is just doing good.
Okay, you guys, that's it. I hope you made it through the whole video. I know that was kind of a rapid fire, random, all over the place plant update, but truly, I just wanted to take a moment to walk around and admire my plants and just show you guys what's growing, what did we move, because that's kind of why I became a plant YouTuber, was to just share what's going on with my plants and collection and talk about plant stuff and hang out. And I mean, I love watching those kind of videos. I love watching people just walk around and be like, look at this new leaf. Like, it's amazing. So I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm sorry, I do know that at some point I was like, look at this, oh my god, now look at this, and that's just my ADD going crazy. But can we also just take a moment at the lighting coming in? You got rainbows, the disco balls are doing their thing. Our whole ceiling is quite literally filled with these dots right now. And all of that south sun that now is hitting the cabinets in here is crazy. It's even, you guys, I have sun hitting like over here at the back of the room. You guys see? Ugh, just so amazing. That's the best part about winter, is now the sun is lower in the sky, so the light is hitting way farther back. And it's the same in our living room and in here. So now on top of the cabinets, they're actually getting direct sun. It is so nice. But yeah, you guys, those are my plants. Let me know in the comments what you guys have been up to lately, like with plants and things. If you have questions, let me know. I know I kind of just zipped through a bunch of stuff, but I always enjoy talking to you guys about plants and seeing anything you guys have to say. That's always really fun. And again, if you guys are really curious on what comes from my herbalism stuff, let me know. I don't even know what will come from it, honestly. But yeah, if you guys are, if that's something that you'd be interested in, like hearing updates on, let me know and I can always sprinkle those into my content as well. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.